Alright, Thursday, 14:47, 55 seconds, year 2024, 5th month, May, 16th day. Alright. We had the lawnmower pup here. The key used to be hanging out here, and when it used to stay in, the key, and then it fell out. Anyway, so this is what it does now. It's just push button, that little button right there. So this, in order to get it to engage, you have to put that down. So we hold that down, and then just push the little button there. So, didn't have to cut anything, just had to stretch this out. Had to cut that though, that part right there, but that can be kind of put back in place right there. It can just kind of be set right there. Turn that a bit. Charged the battery up last night. So here's the battery right here. And it comes with a little spot to charge it. Just plug it in, and it came out to 12 volts on the voltmeter. That goes like that. So we pulled that out last night, cleaned it up, got all the compartments out, and here's all the tools and shit that was needed. This is the old key circuit with the two-pronged flungalunk. We looked for the key in the yard. First time the key fell out, we were able to locate it, but that's just because it fell out in the front yard somewhere. This time it fell out anywhere because mowed the whole yard yesterday. And we're mowing at full speed. Fucking just like track town world record speed yard mowing yesterday with the automatic clutch. So it was kind of like racing around a track, so that's why the fucking key fell out of the hole. But it already fell out the previous yard mow. For some reason, it was just getting to the point where it wanted to fall out, but it always just stayed in there. So, and then it got all bent up and shit. Must have got hit by the lawnmower or something. So I think, because it was a heavy key to be able to fucking bend the metal on that thing. So just pulled the cartridge trigger. The key trigger cartridge out of the housing, and this was the circuit here that would turn. The circuit would turn to connect both those right there. So even saved some of the trimmings from the wires, because the first prototype didn't function. This is the first prototype here. Had a couple makeshift nicky knacks to put on there from this over here. Bag of nicky knacks. And then it's got the old nicky knacks right in there. The bigger ones that were on the other one. Just removed the nicky knacks off that. But this one right here, it already starts with it out. So it would have to been pressed in all the time. So we got rid of that. So we got rid of that protege, and then we had to go to load number 2, and there's switches inside there. So there's the switch area. Pulled out all the electronic wires and shit to look for stuff. Had to plug up the voltmeter and put it on 20 for volts. It didn't hit 20 minus over here. It hit the 20 or the 20 squiggly. it could only read on volt minus ... But it came out to 12 volts on the battery. So that's it. So now the lawnmower starts with the electronic starter now. Well, it did before, but it was a bit weak, and it lasted a year before the battery gave up the power. It needed a recharge. Was looking on the internet to figure out exactly how much time is needed to charge this with the charger. And basically there was only general instructions, and it gave a hint to 12 hours. It looked like the hint was 12 hours, or a day or whatever. But I wanted to be specific and exact. Our exactation wanted to be held and advanced instead of saying I. Just speak generally according to the subject, because I is always included in with identifying with everything. What's in your wallet? Are you the all capitalized name? What's your name? Automatically tell someone what the name is, and the subconscious connected with the AI program, which is a wireless universal system that's connected to all the satellites. It automatically picks up the frequency when one doesn't distinguish between identity, or if one does distinguish, if the self distinguishes between identity and soul, which is artificial robot, which is the boy thought energy, over abuse on the boy thought energy. Stuck on robot. But yeah, robot. Stuck would be abusive. And then on the soul side, that would be, with the distinction, realizing soul speaking generally instead of identifying with something and saying I all the time. Because I always leads to my, and it's mine. And then that's where the tax collector comes in. He says it's mine, which is connected to the universal bully that says it's mine, which tends to be stuck on things and stuck in the mud with it. And then it becomes abusive and wanting to keep it that way forever. So anyway, speaking generally. So instead of saying I, or training oneself to speak generally instead of all this I stuff all the time. I did it, and I looked into this and stuff like that. So speaking generally, so the subject was looked into on the internet. See, that's a more general. See, this gets into more military bearing. And bearing, there was an old plane back when planes were first started being brought forth. There was this pilot called the Red Baron, and he would fly this double-wing plane called the Red Baron. But bearing just means to have proper focus instead of being scatterbrained. So anyway, so that side subject flower was tufting in. Also, bearing revolves with being more relaxed and calm, whereas the old universal bad habit, mud stuck and abusive with it, is to be in a rush. As when the words are coming out the mouth, recording videos and whatnot, things tend to want to get in a real rush, especially when there's batteries involved, because there's charges on the cell phone batteries, and if the batteries are low, you want to get all in a rush in a hurry. So rushing revolves around battery, which are also known as court charges for battery. Charges. He was charged with first-degree battery, a felony, right? Well, he was in a hurry. Anxiety, nervousness. See, this is where all these word derivatives come into play. Where if one isn't where if one studies to be a Vatican Pope, one can learn all the different languages, nationality and race languages that there are. So even the word race connotates being in a hurry. I got a race. I got an order from a customer. He says he wants this, so I have to satisfy the customer. In other words, bow down, kiss a ring. And he wants it by Friday at 5 o'clock. If I don't get it by Friday at 5 o'clock, he's going to be disappointed. And if he's disappointed, well, he might knife me. He show his disapproval. Or he won't. And sometimes his way of knifing someone else, or bringing out the knife instead of knife me or all that other stuff, it's called, well, there ain't going to be no return business because the customer was not satisfied. Wasn't satisfied the way I expected it to be. According to the promise that was advertised, it said quick service. So this gets all into rash vows and saying stuff, saying stuff that really doesn't jive with a nice, relaxed, universal pace. There's that word pay again, pace, with a nice universal, just a flat-out relaxation, and that is whenever. It's there when it's there. It's finished when it's finished. Which allows for that natural forever energy to come in instead of being on a time clock, which is hell. Well, it's hell being on a time clock. It can be hell. There's a good side to it. There's a good side and a bad side and a balance and an equal use to everything. So anyway, getting back to looking up the battery on the internet. See, got all that flower sniffing right to explain, the word I. So looking it up. Instead of saying I looked it up, just more military, to have military distinction. This is taught in boot camp. Distinction begins at day one, is learning how to distinguish between things. Which the general has capacity to be involved with. The general, like the Army general. The reason why the Army general is called the general is because he has a wide variety of knowledge of all subjects that there are, all the different subjects. A general. But then if he wants to get specific, all right, then the general can narrow down, or generality instead. There's the identity, the generality, bringing oneself out of thought more into what's going on out here in the universe. In generality. So that's including the body action, more so with thought. So that there's an equality instead of being lost in thought, which is where depression and anxiety and rage and anger and all that shit comes into play, because one's locked in on a thought. Where if one would just, they say in the old timers, the old ancient days, that they'd say, enjoy a deep breath, or though it would come out in the pirate terms, they would say take a deep breath, which constitutes stealing, to take someone's energy. But anyway, they would say that. They would say, take a deep breath. In other words, come out from being locked in that thought and look around, become aware of the surroundings. The trees, the birds, the people, the atmosphere. That's the girl energy. That's the body. To be concerned with the body as well as thought, which is the boy energy. Father, Son, Holy Spirit. Spirit is another word for thought. To enter more into the universal generality. To relax and realize, the body, all the muscles in the body get tensed up when thought is locked into. And then they get really tensed up when thought is locked into and it doesn't want to let go. Now it turns into emotions such as rage, anger, and it can even go the other way. Excitement, pleasure. Sometimes being hooked on pleasure is also a drug. Sometimes being hooked on anger is also a drug. Being hooked on anything, is considered, quote unquote, on the street, according to the banker's language, out of balance. And if there's, then the books need to be put back in balance. In other words, they say, there's a debtor here that needs to pay to zero out the accounts for the day. Because all businesses have to tally their accounts for the day. They have to zero them out. And if there's the numbers don't add up, then they say, uh-oh. Either the register, the money in the register wasn't tallied up right, or correctly, or there's money missing from the till. Now, this is all the legal realm. This stuff goes on in the legal realm, which is the boy realm or the thought energy realm, being locked in thought. And when there's a thought there that says there's money missing, well, then the thought gets locked into and it says, we need to figure out what's going on here. Either someone miscounted or someone stole the money. This is where court charges come in. And all kinds of other court language. Battery, that's also considered a battery. If there's missing money in the account, that's considered as though someone hit someone else. Bam! That's abusive. That's considered abusive in the legal court system. We have a battery. The battery lost its charge. So now the battery has to be charged back up. That's why people are brought into the courts, because their batteries have lost the charge. So they always charge someone so that it's like getting a jump start from the judge. And then the guy realizes, I guess I shouldn't have done this and I shouldn't have done that according to someone's rule. In other words, I should have kissed the ring, bent over for the butt ream, and paid the tax. Accepted the heavy burden. So whenever someone is charged in court and then they're found guilty and they realize and they tell the judge, sorry, they have to pay the fine. In other words, they have to put the rock back on their back as a slave and pull the heavy object with the rope. This is called being charged legally in the system. This is what it means to be charged up at the local court by the judge. He has to stick his cables in someone, his cable. And if it's a girl, then she has two cables to suck on to get charged back up. Girl judge and a boy judge. These are either going to be the tits from the girl or the dictionary from the boy to get charged up with. So there's two different types of judges. There's the tit provider, and then there's the stick it in the asser. And stick it in the elephant ass. In today's terms, with Biden and Trump, running for presidency and election, those are, the two main courses. It's the elephant ass. Remember, the elephant has a long dick too, and it's controlled. Watch the animal films on television. That dick looks like a fucking waving. It goes up and down. It curves. It goes sideways. All kinds of ways. The elephant ass, because the elephant dick enters from behind near the ass. Only problem is an elephant's ass is a little bit too tight for it to go in. So he looks for the looser hole, the one that fits just right for the key. And then the elephant dick goes in the ass. So the two go hand in hand. Biden and Trump are on the same team, and they're puppet string through the Vatican. They have to kiss the Vatican's ass, or else they'll be charged up. They'll be brought into private military court-martials for a charge, which they already have a long time ago, because what we have today are clones. They were already charged a long time ago. This gets all into Gitmo Bay and off-planetary prisons for abuse, for human rights violations, universal rights violations, but it's universal left, right, middle violations. It's just a violation, period. In other words, being a bully. See, but Biden and Trump are just reflections to universal energy. Just like this body here on the camera, it's just a reflection, universal energy reflection. It's like a hologram. It seems real, smells real, tastes real, touches real, and everything like that. But, you know, it's just a temporal existence to enjoy until the next existence wants to be, you know, morphed into. You know, so some people don't like being people, and they would much rather be a tree planted in the ground. Some people don't like being a tree or a human. They'd much rather be a planet and a star. Some rather be a galaxy. Some rather just be an ant. This gets into the reincarnation subject, if one wants to go that route. So anyway, yeah. So here we are. We got a, instead of a turnkey system for the starter now, turnkey, this is push button. It's easy push instead of more stress twisting. It's easy push. It's much more relaxed push button. You know, just like trading currencies on the internet on a smartphone. It's all push button. And that was one of the thoughts that entered into the mind to bring guilt and shame and doubt and unbelief, was when that key first got missing a couple days ago, last week, when the yard was mowed last week. The thoughts automatically identified with, oh, you're a failure in the Forex market because you had a losing trade. You're a failure. So we're going to take away your key now. And it's all programmed into the universal artificial computer connection, mind brain, MK Ultra mind control, monarch butterfly mind control, the extraterrestrial brain electronic surveillance, pre-scripted, pre-written, pre-programmed. It's a computer program. Everything's connected to the program. It's already been programmed a long time ago, and it can be customized at any time. So anyway, all that explanation for ignition, for battery charging, because the battery needed to be charged up. There needed to be charged. It lost power. You know, well, it was on its last legs. It was still turn a little bit. It would just a little bit crank with the key, which is somewhere out here in the yard somewhere. And the brother did comb the yard. He combed it once pretty good, but you know, hopefully the key probably will show up during next yard mowing session or the next 2 yard. Hopefully it'll show up, but if it never shows up, you know, not a big deal. But it would be nice to have the key, because if his brother wanted to, the brother could hook back the old key twist system. He's still got all the parts, and they'll be packaged and put away and stored into the storage locker in the tool room. And they can be used for spare parts for other projects that need starting equipment. Twisting, that would be electronic connections. Because that's all it is. It's just two wires, a negative and a positive, a boy and a girl energy. That's the boy and girl energy, and they always mate. So when the two wires touch, they're screwing. and then current comes out, and then something gets pregnant if the eggs are healthy, and if the sperm is healthy. If the sperm and the eggs are healthy, there's a pregnancy with the currency flow, and then a new atmosphere, a new expectation, a new idea comes forth. So that old key, it's red. It's red with brass-colored, copper-looking metal on it. A little lawnmower key. It's somewhere under the grass around here. Brother just combed and scoured. Now, it might be under the car. The brother said, it isn't worth it to just start the car, to drive the car. I looked under the car. Yeah, it isn't worth it. if the brother wants to, he's kind of in the mood just to change the switch anyway. Witch doctor. This gets all into the witch doctor. To change the doctor. To doctor it. To have a little surgery. So all the cutting of the wires on that lawnmower for the ignition was a surgery from the witch doctor. Black voodoo, white voodoo, colorful voodoo, reindeer voodoo. Do 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 do. So it's somewhere do 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 do. Now change the vowel sound. We got do or die or dawn or ding or let's see, deed. All the different variations for the vowel sound pronunciation for vowels. There's 13 altogether, although Webster's dictionary says there's only 12. But a 13th one was discovered. But they haven't figured that. They haven't changed the dictionaries yet. Maybe they have. Brother, I have to go get a 2024 dictionary to see if they heard Russell auditing from the backyard that there's a 13th vowel syllable. It was revealed universally sitting out here in the yard 1 year, 5 years ago. That was back in 2015, summer of 2015. That happened. Summer 2000. So the key is somewhere around here under the grass somewhere. So, more than likely. So, it's somewhere. It'll show up. Like I said, it could be underneath the Panther platform. Show the brother get the key and pull the Panther platform forward to see if the key's underneath it. Sicily brother. Well, let's go get the car key. Brother's in the mood now. See, now the mood strikes to move the Panther. The Jaguar. The mood has struck to move the Jaguar. The mood has struck to move the Jaguar. Was listening to Stacy Burke's on Forex hunting. Was listening to Stacy Burke. Now these keys right here, usually when the brother brings the keys out, has to be sure that a belt is in the belt loops, because this goes in a specific way. It goes in behind the belt and through the loop. So that's double protection in case for some reason this key was to fall off. If it just went through the loop can be easily torn. But the belt's a little bit harder to get through. But if the key ring string, this is a dog leash. This is custom made from an idea from a dog leash. Brother got this idea from shopping at the local markets. He said, I need something that I can, that's easy. It's not a chain, because most people use chains to keep the keys on the hip. That's the gun. That's the prison warden's gun, the keys. So anyway, I mean, one subject leads to another, to another, to another, to another, to another. And now that the Panther has had all its interior light bulbs removed, all except for two that have press button up there, but all the rest of the interior lights were connected straight to the battery. And this system right here on this car, if this button right here, interior light button, if it's accidentally pressed for whatever reason, because it's so easy to be turning lights on and shit like that, and press that sucker, and won't even realize during the daytime that all the interior lights are going to be left on. But not only that, they come on every time the door is shut and the car's locked up or whatever the fuck. Those interior lights come on, and then they're on a timer. Then they shut off after about 2 minutes. But if this button is pressed right here, and this is a military police sheriff's vehicle right here, and I'm sure they disengaged that. But if they didn't, then this was a lesson to an officer to be relaxed at all times, because pressing this button and forgetting about it only happens when one is in a big rush or locked in thought, locked in an emotion, rather than being being also balance that thought with what's going on around at all times. That's the body. Always balancing that thought, not getting locked into it. Realize, there's a dog here, there's street. That's called being grounded. There's a ground here, there's a tree there, there's a neighbor there, there's a bird there, there's a plane flying across the sky. But if one gets locked in on that thought and that emotion, that's where people end up getting hurt. The body ends up getting hurt. That's called, eventually, if it gets hurt enough, it dies and goes into a ground. This gets into the forever subject. And this subject learned from a book called A Rich Man's Secret, written through an author called Ken Roberts, who is a commodity financial markets trader, which was introduced to this brother back in the year 2000, back in Bremerton, Washington, where Ken Roberts was sending everybody mail outs to invite them into trading the financial markets. So one was found in the mailbox from commodity trader Ken Roberts, who has a YouTube channel. And he's old now. He's in his 80s. He's old now. He's in his 80s. Brother's been around the block. but the financial markets, that's one step closer to treasury access. Treasury, which is what the witch doctor, through the birth certificate, being a creditor through the baby, that birth certificate is usurped or hijacked. So anyway, this gets into everything. Everything's a big universal. It all flows together like puzzle pieces to put the universal jigsaw puzzle together. So anyway, start the car up here. We're going to move the car to see if the key is underneath the car, the panther, the cat. And if it's not, then it's not. But this battery, the battery in this car drains down when all these interior lights. In fact, Dad had to constantly charge the battery in this car, and Dad didn't know why, or if he knew why, he never said anything. And Mother never knew why, because she never said anything either. But this car, they've changed the battery in this car a couple times. And who knows what. Only they know what they know, and all those that surveil, they know what's going on. But anyway, so this car would always, the battery, because that button would accidentally be pressed for whatever reason. And it's usually only accidentally pressed once again because one is locked in thought and not being aware to the body or girl energy surroundings at the same time with thought, so that accidents are less likely to happen. Like drive off the road and crash into someone else. A drunk driver. A drunk driver is just a picture for being locked in thought. Because usually people drink because their thoughts, they are lost in thought. All that, oh my God, this happened, that happened, this was going on with this relationship. Oh God, I'm in such pain. Oh my God, I need relief from the pain. So they numb the pain instead of knowing what's going on with just knowledge. And so they get drunk. And then they get in their car and they drive around, they hit someone and injure someone, if not themselves too. Lost in thought. That's what the book, A Rich Man's Secret, that was written before Ken Roberts got the copyright on that, because the original author died. So he went and talked with the family to the original authors so that he could promote the book. Because it has a wonderful story, and it's put into a story background too. And the story is a hook. I mean, once you start reading it, it's just like, oh, fuck. Can't put this fucking book down. But the story teaches a wonderful story on being lost in thought. And there's a secondary subject that's dealt with, also called the blue rose, which is don't be in a hurry to sell oneself or sell anything. Like one's energy, and to enjoy one's energy right in the yard. Instead of thinking, oh my God, look at all this energy I got. I think I'm going to put it up for sale and sell it all to the public. And so now everything goes public wide. And now one becomes a slave to the public, because now the public is going to have an expectation. We need a new this and we need a new that, and we need more energy from you. If you haven't given us our energy, you ain't worth your weight in money now. We'll cut you off. You'll be shunned. So this gets all into voting. This is how the voting system functions also. So anyway, let's move the car and see if the lawnmower key might be underneath the cat. And if it's not, then it's not. But the Sicily brother is in the mood to move the cat forward here. Let's move the cat forward. There. Just before the tree. Might want to kiss the tree branch a little bit. So anyway, so the brother removed all the interior lights in this car, and there were 1, 2 underneath the dash, 2 on each side of the doors, and 2 in the back. And they were hot as fuck when them fuckers get on. I remember I reached up to pull one out, and it fucking ah! So them fuckers, those are powerful fucking light bulbs. I don't see no key in here. You see a lawnmower key on the ground? I don't see it. Oh, I guess it's not here, because this is all solid dirt. It would show up real quick. And look, here's a cloud buster. Here's some cloud buster material stuff that's buried underneath the yard right here. Mother brought some of that stuff over, and so we went out to the front and buried it out in the front yard right here. This is Oregon energy devices sitting in the front yard right here, and right next to where Mother parks the car too. Imagine that. Imagine that the day was going to come where this car was going to be sitting in this front yard, because that was not conceived or perceived at all. And look, see, there's energy Oregon devices in here in this car. Well, it would be. Let's shut the car off. There's one inside here in the glove box. Because Mother, there it is right there. There's one right there. There's one right there. And there's probably another one underneath somewhere. But anyway, so Mother spent a lot of fucking money. A lot of money getting into the, not hundreds, it is in the thousands. A lot of money purchasing Oregon material and then constructing the devices. And she went out throughout the whole fucking county and spread them out all over the fucking place. All over. She's not the only one that did this too. There are many people that use these. They're called talismans. In other words, they're just a body that one can put thought into to have an intention, and let that intention be born out and placed in a body. That's all these Oregon devices are. It's all that. They're called talismans, but probably call them talis girls. But there are many people that know about the Oregon energy devices that Wilhelm Reich, who wrote the book called The Sexual Revolution of what really happened in Russia, where the government gave women and children equal rights to the men. And there's a whole story on that. And this gets deep into child sexuality. Deep. So anyway, so Wilhelm Reich wrote that book. He was a clinical doctor. A registered real clinical doctor. And he taught psychosexual analysis. This gets into tension meiosis syndrome, called TMS, which is when the muscles lock up because of oppression and depression and needing to please the ring bearer. Tense, that's what happens. 10 hut. This is all strict military rule. When the captain says 10 hut, everybody gets stiff. Now. But or else they'll be dealt with quickly, especially if you live near the Chinese Oriental areas where all this stuff originated from as far as recorded civilization goes. as far as recorded civilization. There's civilization that's not recorded that was before China. Getting into the dragons and astrology and all that shit. Anyway, so yeah. Mother's not the only one that participated in the orgone energy devices. I spoke to someone running a health food store, cashier at the health food store, if not a partner, and I brought the subject, and she says, "Oh yeah, there's a lot of us in a big club. We know all about this. In fact, we've been putting together orgone devices and planting them all over the fucking county also." She didn't say fucking, but she she could have said it, and it wouldn't have been no big fucking deal. So when I speak on orgone energy, folks, it isn't just me that knows this. It wasn't just Mother that knows it. There are many people in the whole fucking county know it, in the whole fucking state, in the whole fucking country, other countries. I'm gonna go so far as to say off planet, other planets, other galaxies, because this is the energy that runs that the whole existence is. That we have that's there to consider as a foundation, to have something to consider. Body and thought, girl and boy energy. And when they touch or mate or fuck or screw, then new ideas, concepts, new everything is birthed. A new child is birthed. Whether it be a physical body or a thought, or if someone writes a book or they invent something, it's because those two energies fucked. You call it screw, you call it sexual appetite, you call it mate, any word you want to call it, doesn't matter. You call it still the same thing. So anyway, there's orgone custom from Mother. She spent thousands of dollars, $1,000 also contributing to bringing equality, because that's the whole essence to all this movement. Any movement that feels stepped on, sprayed with chemtrails all the time and all that shit, poisoned food. Here comes the high jet on that one. It's not. Here it's going towards Eugene area. But this happens with the hologram, the computer system. Every time a high point is hit, the computer system also is already pre-programmed to bring confirmation with high jets flying above. This is time and time again in the backyard. Going on 10 years now. Because this was discovered 10 years ago, sitting in the backyard with no job and just sitting around observing surroundings all around. All these noises, dog noises, sirens, planes, everything, and connected it. There was a thought. This is what the yogis do. They sit around all day and they watch their thoughts. But they're not their thoughts, they're just universal thoughts. They watch thoughts. That's why they can sit up on stage and they can tell everyone everything about thought. And the people are like, oh my God, I feel so exposed and naked. This guy's saying exactly what's going on. And then they start crying all this shit because, they realize, oh my God, all this has been happening because thoughts have been running me. People cry fucking tears when they start figuring this shit out. Especially when they're in a group setting, like churches and clubs and yogi gatherings and devotees, because there's a heavy energy when the people gather around together like that. They feel even more naked because now their bodies start to stiffen up, because now they have to look at each other in the eye and think, is he talking about me? They probably are. I better not look at someone. I might give myself away as though they know that. This is what happens in crowds when the heart is hit heavy. When the heart is hit heavy, everybody don't want to look around no more. They just want to kind of look forward and kind of like, uh-oh, they might know what I'm thinking. And so they just kind of look out the corner of their eyes and just all of a sudden one becomes stiff. Okay, this gets into tension myotis syndrome. Stiff. This, what happens to a body when it dies? It gets stiff because the lack of circulation gets impeded. Circulation, the energy flow, it gets dammed up. This is called blocking the chakras. So anyway, so yeah. So the lawnmower key didn't fall out under. It's not under the car because the Sicily brother moved the cat forward and then mowed in this area all the grasses here, pulled a couple growths so that so the little plants don't grow up into underneath the car, and then the ants start helping themselves to inside the car. They found a nice little hole to get inside the interior to the car already. The car was already infested with ants. When the neighbor, exactly, as soon as the neighbor moved in, that's when it showed up. The ants. Then all of a sudden, as soon as the new neighbor moved in, that's when the synchronization showed up. The cat was infested with ants. And so the brother tediously removed all the ants very delicately. Didn't kill a fucking one. Because that's when the brother wasn't into killing ants back then. The Sicily brother wasn't into killing ants. So he would, he'd put a little food on the seat. They'd gather around and put the food outside, let them down on the branch, give them a kiss, and say, "There you go." So there are no more ants in the cat. The cat isn't infested. The car isn't infested. The Panther platform isn't infested with ants anymore. Although it could easily be reinfested if all this dirt that's under here that needs to have some asphalt. That's uncracked asphalt too. Otherwise, plants start to grow up underneath the car, and then they touch the metal under the car, and then the little bugs, especially ants, they'll crawl right up and they say, "We found a new home, Queen." The Queen's like, "You're going to get a promotion there, soldier ant. You found a new home. Look at this. Oh my God, they'll never figure this one out." So the soldier ant gets promoted and the queen ant's happy, right? All because of plant. Well, what caused the plant to grow up? Is the DNA that's in the ant the same that's in the plant? Is it universal energy that grew up from the ground that touched that robot computer mechanism right there to see if it could give some life and put some blood and breath into the robot? Because that's all this car is. It has yet to have much soul, probably got a tiny little bit of soul. But if it had enough energy brought into this body, because that's all this is a body, then it could start breathing, there would be circulation, there would be blood, it would be living, and then it could move. It could dance around, it could talk, and all kinds of shit. So, but remember, this is all just scientific information to ponder. Doesn't mean that it is just because it's audited into the atmosphere. For all the children or all the adults, even the adults to hear. It was adulterated. Traded. It was adulterated. A trader. Oh, financial trading markets. Oh, it was adulterated. It was raided and traded and baited. Let's move, well, shall move instead of this let's stuff. Shall move it back. Vote for me. Let's do this and do that. Vote for me. So we're low on gas here. We got 1 gallon. We're gonna have to go to the fuel station today and put some more gasoline in the tank because it's on E. It's only got 1 gallon, it says, but it has reserves. It has 3 gallon reserves, so it actually has 4 gallons. But we need to go to the gas station today. Seems how it's nice and sunny today. Better on a sunny day than on a rainy day. Put the brake on, shut the door. Now the brother doesn't have to worry about no more interior lights being left on and the battery draining again. This is a V8, and they say, don't start. They say, don't. The saying goes, don't jumpstart any V8 vehicle with nothing less than another V8 vehicle. But the brother said, well, according to the circuitry and electronic knowledge that the brother knows, the only reason they say that is because most people don't want to wait to hook the cables up to set the RPMs on any cylinder vehicle, any cylinder, even if it's just a 4 or 3 cylinder. Hook the cables up and put the car on 2,000 like driving on the freeway with the cables and let it charge into the battery, just like it hooking up to electronic with electronic charger. Charge the battery for about 10, 15, 20 minutes, then hit the starter and it'll fire up. And you won't hurt the poor little 4-cylinder battery. but most people ain't got time to wait for nothing, right? Why is that? Because most people are locked into thoughts that say, got to get it out by 5 o'clock today. If you want to get your paycheck to pay the bill, hurry up. Well, of course. Now, look at all the doors. Be sure all the doors are locked because door handles have a tendency to break at any time. At any time. Door handles and trunks and hoods have a tendency to break at any time because remember, in the temporal night order slave system, there's still a whole lot of thieves out there. And no use giving them the opportunity to want to participate in more childishness than what they're already involved with, although it could be a good thing. In other words, reduce the temptation. So the story goes. But that's the old bad habit. The old bad habit is taught throughout the counties from the mayor and the county commissioner and the head attorney and all that. And he says, we need to reduce the possibility for crime and murder around here, right? Well, that's the reasoning behind locking everything up. because that's how the temporal legal system runs. It runs on a limited liability sense of security. Which it's temporal. It's temporal. That even in religion they teach, well, once you die and you believe in the religious figure, then everything's going to be forever. But because of all the temporality, we need to lock shit up so it doesn't get stolen. Put cameras everywhere so we can be sure that there are no thieves looking funny at the situation. Otherwise, they'll have to smile. And then they'll learn how to be a Hollywood actor if they learn how to smile on camera and pretend like they're on stage and go, oh, this isn't really a crime here. This is just looking at myself and growing up. Oh, it's not a crime. Oh, I thought it was a crime. Actually, it's an opportunity to grow up. But who sees this view with Prison Bubba? The prison warden doesn't see it this way because he too is still learning how to grow up. Put him on a stage and he'll probably have stage fright and go stiff. Because the chakras are dammed up when the river needs to flow. That's circulation. Anyway, that's an hour video on losing a lawnmower, or not necessarily losing it, misplacing. There, misplace. Would you please come to the front counter? Misplace. We have another mess to clean up on aisle 9. Misplace. So to say that key is lost, no, it's not lost. To say that Grandma died and she's lost, no, she didn't die, she lost. There's a drawdown on the account when someone said, my money was stolen, it's gone. No, there's a drawdown. It can be replaced real easy. And then added to with extra so that the cup overfloweth. So if one is locked in thoughts and they think, oh, it's gone and it's gone forever. Oh, I'll never see my grandma or my old cat again, or I'll never see my car again. It was stolen. Oh, no. They get locked in that thought instead of breathe and relax and go, look at the high jet on this one coming up on this one. Look in the distance, can't even hear it. This one was seen, look at that. Can't even hear it yet, it's gonna be heard here shortly. This is the first time that the brother saw the jet coming from a distance. Okay, now shut up. Let's shut up. Oh, shall be quiet. Now this one's coming, here comes the high jet. It can hardly be heard. And it's going at a steep angle because it just took off from Eugene Airport. It's going up, up, up in altitude. Look at that. Now that was higher than the other jet. And there's jets that go even higher than that because in synchronized with the program and the thought and body action that comes out of this Sicily brother auditor right here in the backyard, sometimes it's a very high level communication or confirmation that what's being spoken and said is key. It is key. It's key. In other words, it's very valuable information. That's treasury access. Okay, this is learning how the Universal Extraterrestrial Team Vatican computer hologram system functions. To be conscious with it. Consciousness. Universal consciousness. Anyway, so that red key is around here in the grass. It might be an elephant riding into town on Jesus's ass. Is there an elephant riding into town on Jesus's ass? Anyway, so let's click the throttle again and enjoy another automatic key starter battery charged lawnmower experience. Well, not let's, just experience it. Brother can mow the yard again. It might have grew at least half an inch. There's some high spots still in the yard around here. Woo! Woo! Up there's some high spots right there. Missed this part right here. This part was missed. The high spot, big high spot right there. Look at that. High spot. See? High spot. That was a high spot. Brother has to remember to put the cameraman on there. This automatic drive, as long as this red thing is pressed, automatic easy drive. There's kind of a high spot right there. Man, this grass grows fast. Grass in this yard, in this area over here, grows fast. Oh, there's a spot missed right here. Look at that. There's a spot that was missed. That's because the brother was locked in thought mowing the yard yesterday. It was in such a fucking hurry, it was like track town. That's how the key got lost. Ah, yes. Ah, yeah. Let's see if it'll start up again. Let's see. Automatic lawnmower starter. This is nice. It's called the Easy Walk. This is a Briggs & Stratton from Craftsman. This is one of the old lawnmowers. This ain't the new lawnmowers they have these days. This is one of the old ones. So here it is. It's push button start now. Push button. Instead of turn keys, push button. Woo! Woo! Forward! Imagine if the ambulances did that. Woo! Pull over. Woo! Pull out. Woo! Get it off. Woo! Might even have to might even want to clean it. It might be dirty. Look, it's dirty. Now it needs to be washed off before it's put away. It's a nice dry day. Not a big deal today. Let's lock it up to the post. Lock it up to the post. There's that right there. You can put the bag back in. Here's the bag. Only problem is it come with an easy hole in the bag, so had to come up with a fresh plug for the easy hole. You gotta remember to lock it up though. Here, let's get a sideways view and see how hard it is to lock the thing up, man. This thing is a pain in the ass to lock up because it has to have the big long reach around with the cable that's got to go under from reaching it from the other side of the lawnmower, all bent over like a fucking slave and all that shit at weird fucking concocted angles that every fucking joint and tendon in the body gets stretched to its maximum capacity at times depending on the mood, angle, thoughts and body actions. Predominantly thoughts, being locked in thought. God damn it, I need to get this fucking thing locked up and I can't fucking get it right now. That's called being locked in thought. And so now all kinds of pain happens to the girl. The body, the back gets wrenched, all because of being locked in the boy energy. That's the positive battery cable, the boy energy. It's called lost in thought. Remember that. Or locked in thought. And if it lasts forever like that, well, now there's no more bodies to enjoy. Imagine that. Imagine if the girl got toasted forever. No more body. Everything would be just thoughts floating around as ghosts. That's the Holy Spirit. No more bodies. Imagine that. No more enjoying this wonderful living situation that seems to be everywhere, right? It's kind of nice to dance around, sing and dance and all that other shit. I mean, it's nice to have that universal experience. It is nice to have a girlfriend. Everyone already has a girlfriend. They don't need a girlfriend. They already got one. Imagine that. Oh, I am both boy and girl. I am, or this thought and body is both a boy and a girl, and it longs to have a sexual relationship, to mate, to bring forth and give birth to all kinds of new things. Well, imagine that. That might be a new class taught at the University of Oregon this year or next year. As soon as word gets around town more and more and more and more and more, and then the privileged dean says, oh my God. He'll ask the question, who the fuck is this fucker? He'll go to the city attorney. Well, he already knows who I am. There ain't no doubt in my fucking mind. Head attorney, the chair, the boards, they already know who I am. And that's all that matters. Doesn't matter that everybody in the county doesn't know who I am, but some know. They already know who I am at the state, the federal, international, and universal level. They already know. Well, to more appropriately put, they already know who this thought-body combination is. They already know. It's also them. It's them also. It's just the universe. In all kinds of diamond flat reflections, you look at the jewel, they call it the diamond, all the sparkles when it's turned different ways and it looked at all kinds of different ways. Okay, that's all bodies are. all the different bodies. There's sparkles in the jewelry. Sparkles in the jewelry. And it's all one big giant jewel. One big giant jewel together. Sparkling all over. One could call it sparkling wine. Sparkling wine. Anyway, it's been an hour and 5 minutes, all because a lawnmower key all because a lawnmower key is missing. It didn't get lost. But if we want to use the word lost, just put a new thought on it. It's not really lost. Lost in the dictionary, in today's dictionary for the word lost, just means it's temporarily missing. Or relocated. There, it's hiding somewhere. It wanted to hide in the grass over there. If it felt like hiding in the grass over there, it got tired of being all out in the cold and twisted and shit like that. It wanted to be right there. So value its lovely respect. Value its lovely respect. All right, talk to you later.